What's up everybody, welcome to my channel. On this channel we'll be doing many different styles of cooking. Sometimes we'll be inside, working on the stove, maybe making some fresh pasta or baking some bread. Other times we're going to be outside around the fire pit, but more often than not we're going to be on the patio. As you can see, I've got three different styles of cookers out here. Over here I've got a Yoder Smokers YS640S pellet grill. This guy's a Lynx Professional Series 54-inch natural gas grill. And this is a Kamado style grill. They use lump charcoal. Each of these grills has some strong points and some weak points. There's definitely a lot of things I like about them. They all use different fuels. They're able to create different flavor profiles. And I use all of them almost equally. What I want to do is give you a closer look at the things that I really like about them and give you some pointers on them. That way, if you're ever in the market, you can make a decision on what the best one is for you. Let's have a closer look. All right, so let's start with the one that you know. This one's a natural gas grill. Frequently we see them on propane. I started on propane, probably cooked on propane for about 20 years. And then a few years ago, I bit the bullet and upgraded to natural gas. All you need is a different regulator, but you do have to have a gas line run. These are pretty self-explanatory, but essentially on this particular one, I've got three different burners. They're all individually adjustable. So you want to be warming some bread or toasting some buns, and you want to be grilling some vegetables, potatoes, meat. You want to be searing a steak. You've got all that flexibility here. On this particular one, you've also got a rear rotisserie burner. This one's got two, and we also have a side burner here, so you can saute some onions or something while you're cooking. But if you can only have one grill, this is a great grill to have. Right? The great thing is you've got a lot of different flexibility. You've got a lot of cooking surface. You can even get an accessory to make it into a griddle. And you know, when you come home from work at the end of the day, you're in a hurry, you're hungry. You run out here, you crank it up on high, you go inside for 10 minutes, prep your food, you come on out and you're ready to roll, right? This one will get up to about 600 degrees in 10 minutes, a little bit less in the winter time, but you know, whether it be winter or summer, this is great all year round. It's always gonna get hot, you're always gonna be able to get great results out of it, and you know, just have a lot of flexibility. Little tip about propane, if you're still on it, do yourself a favor, don't go to the gas station and don't go to one of those cages where they do the propane exchange. The cages are 15-pound tanks, not 20-pound tanks. So most of us are used to having a 20-pound tank. They look identical, but you're losing about 25% of your fuel. Go buy yourself a 20-pound tank. And then around here you can go to, we have Tractor Supply, and they do bulk propane fill-up. But what they do is they undo the valve at the top of the propane tank, so when you're actually getting it filled, it's getting filled right to the top. In addition to that, here, it costs 13 bucks to fill up a 20-pound tank versus 18 or 20, 21, 23, whatever it is at the gas station, and you're getting a full 20 pounds of fuel, so you're able to cook that much longer. You can really just buy a second tank and fill up two for almost a little, you know, the same price as if you pay for one at the gas station. So save yourself some money that way. You know, if you have a side burner, you're gonna go through a lot of propane. That's the one thing about the side burners is they do burn some fuel. Something to know about something like this is that save your money, right? I had, I don't know, 3 or 4 different lower end models. You know, they were between $400 or $500, maybe $600. And you know, I've always covered my barbecues. I like to take care of them, but ultimately, you know, those brands are not around the longest. They're always changing their models. So what happens is, you know, 2-3 years in, a burner rusts out or something breaks, igniter breaks, and you can't find parts for them. So then you're stuck with a burner, you know, a barbecue that's got different hot spots. Maybe a burner's rotted out. You know, they've gotten better now. They're using better quality, but at the end of the day, you know, you get what you pay for. It's no different than anything else in life. If you're in the market for something like this, I would highly recommend you save your money and get up to at least something like a Weber Genesis. You know, those grills start around $800 or $1,000. They've got 7 mil stainless steel grates. You know, not quite as thick as this stainless steel, but it is stainless steel. That means they're going to last. They're not going to rust out. And the great thing about a Weber is that it has a 10-year warranty. You know, another great brand out there is Napoleon. A couple family members have them. I've never cooked on one myself, but it is, you know, a great brand. I've always been partial to Weber. You know, I finally bit the bullet and I bought a Weber Summit Series 4-burner. Love that thing. You know, I used it for many years. I actually sold it a few years ago before I got this guy, and you know, that thing was $2,000 new. I used it for 8 years, and then I sold it to someone for $650. So I got 8 years of use, and you know, it cost me $1,300. Money well spent, and in fact, it still had 2 years left on the warranty. So what I did is I got new burners for him. It didn't need them, but I figured since he was going to get the grill anyhow, I might as well take advantage of the warranty. I got 4 new burners put into it, and away he went. So, you know, take your time, save some money, buy a good one. You won't have as many hot spots or anything like that, and it'll be something that is going to last you a long time, and you get a chance to enjoy it. So, you know, the reason why we went to a Lynx is several things. You know, really, I wanted a grill that I was going to buy. It should be the last grill that I buy. You know, I expect to get 15 or 20 years out of it if I take good care of it. This is 100% stainless steel, 3 or 4 everywhere. You know, the great thing about Lynx is these are made in the U.S. They are very, very well built. You know, this guy, these hinges in here, these are all welded, and then the beads are all hand polished and everything. It's built like a tank. This guy weighs 650 pounds. You know, it took 2 guys to get it on the patio. I won't be moving it anytime soon. It does move on wheels, but you know, you've got fully lighted up. I don't know if it's going to come across in the video, but there's lights up here so you can see where you are. They're blue lights. There's grill lights up top. So I'm a late eater. My friends will tell you that uncommon for me to eat at 8 or 9 at night. So I like to have a little bit of light to be able to cook with. Lynx has a patented Trident burner here. This guy, I'll show you what it looks like. But it's essentially 3 burners. They all work as one, but it gives you some great surface area, and this is adjustable from 300 degrees to 1,000 degrees. It allows you to get that great cook or sear on your steak, but you can also just use it as a regular burner, which is really good. The nice thing about a burner like that is when you're cooking over a natural gas flame or any flame, you know, there's air moving. That air is evaporating moisture from your meat and your vegetables. So when you cook over an infrared burner, you're able to get meat that's juicier and vegetables that's juicier. The other thing about something like this guy, we have a complete plate. Lots of barbecues use the one flame tamer, they call them, but what it does is it'll basically deflects the heat around the barbecue and makes it so that they call them flavorizers, because as the meat juices drip on it, it evaporates and the steam adds flavor to the meat. But I mentioned earlier that sometimes burners rot out. What Lynx has done in this particular one is these guys are ceramic. This is never going to rust. They are a little bit fragile, so you want to be careful with them, but luckily it's not too often you're taking them out just to clean. But they'll last a very, very long time. As you can see, that's an H-style burner. So what that does is that warms up this whole plate, so there's no hot spots. It also, for the most part, does not flare up. The only time I see it flaring up is if I'm cooking some sausage, some like Italian sausage or something like that. The grease gets on there and this whole plate gets hot, so as the grease drops down, you'll get a little bit of flaring up from it. But if you're cooking a steak or chicken or something like that that's not as greasy, you don't get flare-ups from it. And no matter where you put your meat on the grill, you're going to get a nice even temperature. So the Lynx is, if you look at the series of grills out there, you go to the Home Depots and the Lowe's and you get some of the brands there. Weber's got a series there, I can't remember what it's called, but that's their entry-level series. Those are consumer grade grills. When you get up to like a Genesis or a Summit, those are more prosumer grills. And when you get up to this is classified as a luxury grill. But overall, the Lynx is a great product. Very happy with it. One of the things about Lynx is that they make everything from sinks and side burners, and this side burner is an add-on. You just take the shelf off and you put it in there and attach the shelf to it. These are fully adjustable down, but you can add on to this. There's a griddle, there's a pizza oven, they make kegerators, refrigerators, pretty much everything, and they all have the blue light, so when you're trying to complete your kitchen look, they all look the same. And just overall, it's a great product. I've had it for a couple years now, and don't regret it whatsoever. All right. Let's move over to the Yoder. All right, so now we're looking at the Yoder YS640S pellet grill. First things first, why is it called a pellet grill? That's because we got these little things here. Got wood pellets, get you some sunshine there. And ultimately, they come in many different flavors. Mesquite, hickory, apple, cherry. So how does this work? This is your hopper. This particular hopper holds about 20 pounds of wood pellets, but ultimately at the bottom of this, there's an auger, and it's just a metal auger. It goes through, it cranks through, and as it turns, it grabs pellets and pushes them into the firebox. The firebox in this particular one is right on the left side, close to the hopper. A lot of times they're in the middle, depending on the brand. But ultimately what happens is you set the temperature on this. It's all electronic controlled. Once it's started, it gets up to temperature. If you change your temperature or the temperature inside the grill drops, it pushes more pellets in there to light a bigger fire and maintain the temperature. Yoder uses the brand Fireboard as their controller in here. That's what helps with the temperatures in there. It's got a great app, so I can be sitting in the basement, decide it's time to get dinner done in a little bit quicker time, turn up the temperature remotely. It's got 2 temperature probes, so I can monitor the temperature of the meat, so I got an idea of where I'm at. And you can also fully program it so that when your meat's done, it'll go down to a warm only mode. One of the things that's unique about a pellet grill, and I've got my racks up out here, but essentially what happens is in here, there's an entire plate. This is called a heat shield deflector plate. And what happens is the fire hits this plate and radiates across. So your meat or whatever you're cooking on here is not actually going to touch the fire. So what's the benefit of that? You can start this guy up, go inside, prep your food, wait till it's up to temperature, come out, throw your chicken on here, and go inside for 10 minutes until it's halfway done, come out and flip it. Because the meat's not touching any fire, it's not actually gonna burn. Like if you left it in that one spot for 20 minutes, yeah, I mean, if you put it over the firebox, it's hot. It can burn, but for the most part, once you get to know it, you can go in 10, 12 minutes, depending where it is, come out and turn it, you're gonna have some nice little bit of char on it, go inside for another 10 minutes. Like, you don't have to babysit this grill the way you would like a natural gas grill. This particular brand is very flexible in the sense that underneath this foil here, I bought the upgraded plate, and I can remove this plate, and then I've got direct access to the firebox. So I've got some grill grates, they're aluminum grates. You see them on a lot of barbecue channels out there, but people use them to get intense grill marks on them because they heat up very, very well. But you put them in here And now I can dial this thing up to 500 degrees or 600 degrees and I can sear my meat, no problem. It's unique to the Yoder brand. As I said, most units on the market out there, they've got the firebox in the middle. You know, the one unique thing about this one is that, let's say I want to do a cold smoke. You get one of those amazing smoker tubes, and it's just a tube you fill with wood pellets. You take your torch to it, you light up one end, and then it just, as it burns through the pellets, it kind of smolders and fills the chamber with smoke. I can just turn this on, the fan will start up, and it'll come through and out the chimney, and you can do a cold smoke on it. So it's a very versatile unit. Like I said, it will go up to 600 degrees. I think it goes as low as 180. You know, the one thing to understand about a pellet grill, though, is that when you're cranking at 500-600 degrees, you're going through some pellets. So, you know, one tip about these guys is that you should buy your pellets in bulk. I use a place called @bbq.com. Chef Tom does a bunch of YouTube videos out there. I'm not sponsored or anything like that, but you know, I buy some stuff from there, and they do a half pellet, I think, is 28 bags. A full pallet is 56 bags. You can mix and match your flavors, but buy them in bulk because you're going to get them a lot cheaper, and you're going to go through them. You know, that is the one kind of, I don't want to say it's a drawback, but it is something to be aware of when you get a pellet grill. You're going to go through some pellets. They are more expensive to use than, say, a propane barbecue, but you are gaining the ability to use many different flavors and a lot of flexibility. But ultimately, you know, this is not something I'm going to try and crank up to 600 degrees and I'm going to make pizza on it, right? I'm going to use my Kamado for that. People do it, but I just don't think that this grill particularly shines in that area. You know, one of the downsides to something like this, these pellets, they don't like water. Right, they become a mush. They're compressed wood, so they just fall apart and become a mush. And then you can jam your auger, and a jammed auger is no fun. So when you're working with something like this, you don't want to be cooking in the rain. And if you are in the rain, you want a big umbrella covering you. That is one of the drawbacks to them. A little bit of a tip about them: do some research on wood pellets. Right, there's definitely some brands out there that you know, it's hickory wood or oak or something like that, but it's just got an oil. So mesquite is not true mesquite wood. So you want to do a little bit of research on that. Again, it comes down to, you know, just like the quality of your meat. You know, the more money you spend, the better quality you get. Wood pellets are going to be the same way there. So why Yoder? You know, I've had another brand. I've had a couple Traegers, and they make a great product, right? Traeger's known for making some great chicken, and I'll tell you a quick little story. Before I had this house, I had a townhouse, and we had an 8x10 deck. And I was at Costco one time and I saw the Traegers there, and I was like, man, that sounds like an awesome concept. I need to buy one of these, so I bought one. And you know, I cooked on it for 3 weeks straight. The reason why I bought it from Costco was because I knew if I didn't like it, I could take it back. And I'll tell you what, it made some great chicken, some of the best chicken I've ever had. I did some ribs on it. Ribs were pretty good. At the time, I had a charcoal Smoky Mountain smoker as well, so I could do some other smoking. But I couldn't sear. I didn't like the way it cooked burgers, didn't like the way it cooked steak. And you know, there's some workarounds. You put it near the back side of it, and you can get it hotter. They have a cast iron insert now. But ultimately, you know, my wife said to me, you know, what are you gonna do with the Traeger? What do you think of it? And I said, man, it makes some great chicken. And she turned around and she said, you know what, you're not having two barbecues on that deck. It's not big enough. So lo and behold, I went back and I got my first Weber. Just wanted to bring you in real quick, let you have a closer look at what I was talking about here. Here's this plate. And over here, down here's the fire box for you. And the pellets just come in here, they fill up. Flames hit this plate, and then the heat kind of radiates over top of it. Like I said, this is an optional plate. It doesn't come with the ability to remove the centerpiece here, stock. You just buy this extra plate, and then they sell a kit where you get the grill grates that come across here, and that way you can sear your meat, you can smoke your meat, and get the best of both worlds. My last little point about a pellet grill is that if you are looking for like a really strong smoke flavor, like let's say you had, you've got maybe an electric smoker, like a Brinkman, or you have a Smoky Mountain smoker, and you're used to something that puts off a lot of smoke, and you're looking for this to replace that. Not quite going to do it. I mean, you can get some smoky meat. Don't get me wrong. You can get some great, like I've made some amazing burgers, gotten some really good smoke on them. But if you're trying to get, if you're the type of person that likes a lot of smoke in there, something like the Kamado, Green Egg, Kamado Joe, that type of grill, or just like a true smoker might be a little bit better for you, just because you're going to be able to get just a little bit more smoke out of it. And that's not a knock on this. There's lots of people out there that don't like a lot of smoke, and this is perfect. It gives you some wood flavor, gives you some smoke. But I always like to tell people that this is not going to put a real thick smoke on your food. And once in a while I want a big piece of meat or a big piece of pork, and I want like lots of smoke in it. Competition style, they don't even like that much smoke. It's all personal preference, but I always like to tell people that. So that's about it for the Yoder smoker. Let's move over to the Kamado. Last but not least, we've got our Kamado. This style of grill uses lumped charcoal. You've probably heard of one called the Big Green Egg, or maybe Kamado Joe, but ultimately they all use lumped charcoal. They're made out of some very thick material, and essentially what happens is they keep the heat in, the material gets heat soaked, and they're extremely efficient, but they allow you to do everything from low and slow smoke all the way up to a 900-degree pizza. So very, very flexible in range, and once you kind of get used to them, they're very easy to use. They do have a little bit of a learning curve, but the basics is, down here, we have a vent that turns. We allow air in, but this particular one pulls out so you can get maximum amount of air in there. But you adjust the air in the bottom, and then you use your top vent here to adjust the air that's going through. So put some lumped charcoal in it, get it lit up, open up the bottom, open up the top a bunch of turns. Typically I'll leave it open for about 10 minutes to get it going. And then from there you close it up and you regulate your temperatures by airflow. And to give you an idea, like on this particular one, if I want to be around 250, once it's warmed up, I know that I'm going to be about ½ inch open on the bottom, maybe ½ inch open on the bottom, and I'm going to be about a quarter turn open on this. Something like this gives you a tremendous amount of flexibility. They're great barbecues. I actually had a Kamado Joe for 2 or 3 years before I upgraded to this one. This is some great cooking. As I said, with the propane barbecue, we're talking about the ceramic burners and the infrared burners, and the fact that when you have a flame, there's air moving around, and that air, as it moves across the meat or the vegetables, is taking away moisture from the meat. With here, especially this particular unit, there's almost no moving air. So you're able to achieve extremely juicy cuts of meat. Let's talk pros and cons. So, pros about this barbecue, there's a lot of them, right? 180 degrees, 900 degrees, anywhere in between. Cook, bake, sear, grill, smoke. This thing does it all. The other thing I like about it is it's flexible, right? There's many different kinds of wood you can buy out there, so you can get a whole bunch of different flavor profiles, cherry, apple, mesquite, you name it. Another thing about it is that in this particular model, I can do a true hot zone and a cold zone. This has got a deflector basket in it, and what happens is I put plates to block off half of it. So there's only one portion of it that's actually got lumped charcoal burning, and then I can do indirect heat right here, so it's flexible in that way. A con is that this style cooker takes a little bit of time to get them going. I mean, you've got to light your charcoal, get it to come up to temperature, heat soak it, and get the temperature stabilized, and then you can cook. So, when you first start it, it's going to take you a little bit of time. Some people will use a leaf blower and they'll get it going that way. They'll use a torch, get some coals going, a leaf blower, get it up to temperature, and away they go. Right? They're saying they can get it done in about 15 minutes in most cases. I've used a leaf blower from time to time, but ultimately it does take a little bit of time to get it up to your temperature, and it also takes a long time to cool down. So for me particular, I'm a little anal. I like to cover up all my barbecues when I'm done using them. They very rarely see the rain, and the fire's got to be put out, and you've got to let it cool down a little bit, and then you can cover it. So that's a little bit of a con for me. I don't use this during the week. I usually want to get home, I want to start cooking, and I want to go. Done. I want to be done cooking. So this is not something I use in the week. This is usually a treat on the weekend or a holiday like today, and it's great, but I'm not going to use it every single day. Buy good quality lump charcoal, right? Quality's the theme for today. The cheaper charcoal doesn't burn as hot and it doesn't last nearly as long. When you buy good quality charcoal, it's going to allow you to get really, really hot, and because it's so dense, it's going to burn for a very, very long time. You put a good quality charcoal in this particular unit, and 16 pounds will burn for 85 hours at 225 degrees. I mean, that's incredible efficiency. So it kind of leads me on to why Kamado. Forbes called this the best built cooker on the planet. It's overbuilt, right? This is all stainless steel. This particular model is a 32-inch one, and it has 125 pounds of stainless steel in it. The total barbecue weighs about 930, 940 pounds. And great thing is it's got big wheels, so I can move it around myself on the deck. It took 4 of us to push it up on the deck once we built a ramp. But once it's in place, it is easy to move around. But ultimately, it's just heavy because of the quality. It's very, very thick material. It's one of the only ones on the market where the air actually has to go through the charcoal. Air will take the path of least resistance. In this design, the air has to go through the charcoal. So it makes it very, very efficient. I had a Kamado Joe for a couple summers, loved it, sold it to a buddy, he's loving it. It's a great, great cooker. Has some of the same abilities as something like this, but the one drawback with it is that you're constantly playing with the temperature, right? You lock it in for a little while, then if you're monitoring your temperatures, a couple hours later, you've got to come in and you've got to tweak your dials a little bit. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but something like this, it's so efficient, and once it gets heat soaked, it holds heat so well, there's very little fluctuations in the temperatures, so you're really able to lock it in. This guy is just something that I wanted to buy one and be done with it. I had the Big Joe before, so it's 24 inches in diameter. This guy was a little bit of an upgrade, gave me a little bit more cooking area, which I do like. And then it's got, you can customize the sides. It's got teak sides versus stainless steel sides. If you look over here, like I said before, we've got a cold smoker port, but we've also got one of these guys that allows you to use something like a barbecue guru. And what that is that's a fan that you can hook up to the temperature probe, and you can actually have it regulate your temperature for you. So if you're doing a brisket for 16 hours and you don't want to stay up all night and babysit it, you can use something like that. I have not done cook like that on this one yet, but I've done all day cooks, and because it regulates temperatures very well, I don't know if you'd need that. You might need it on an overnight cook because you're going to have a change in temperature depending on the night. But for the most part, I have one. I've never used it, and this guy just does a great job. On top of that, Dennis, who's the owner, he lives in Indonesia. These are hand built in Indonesia, but he's accessible all the time. They ship out of California. He's online. And because of the time difference, you can talk to him in the middle of the day via chat on the website or give him a call. But he's very, very helpful. After sale is just as good as pre-sale. He's there to help you be successful, give you some advice, and if you ever have a problem, he's going to take care of you. Just overall a great guy. That wraps up the Kamado. Once again, it's a great grill. If you're in the market for anything like this, I highly recommend you consider this brand or look at the Kamado Joe. You know, not knocking the Big Green Egg. It's a great barbecue. I just don't think that they've innovated like some of the other brands out there. You know, like I said, these things are heavy. The Kamado Joe has a spring in theirs, much like this one. So when you open it, it opens by itself. Very easy to open. The Big Green Egg, they don't have that. You know, when you get into the bigger ones, that's a heavy lid. And the other thing about the Kamado Joe is that they have the divide and conquer system, which is essentially a round wire rack system. And it's got 2 heat deflector shields, so you can put them down there to smoke, or if you want to do 2-zone cooking, you have a deflector down there and you try and keep your fire over to the other side, and you can get a 2-zone cooking effect. You can do, you know, a lower rack, a higher rack, split the racks. It's just Kamado Joe is innovated a little bit more than the Big Green Egg has. They've got accessories. They both have accessories, but I think the Kamado Joes are a little bit more reasonably priced. And like I said, I had one for 2 years. Couldn't knock it. Just wanted to upgrade to this guy, and hopefully I'm done buying barbecues.